Hello everyone and welcome to this session doing some Catalan tactics on lichess.org where we are doing tactics after the tactics. So for example, in this position, after bishop takes, knight takes, saving the knight, e4, hitting the pinned knight to the queen, queen anywhere, how are we winning? So if queen c7, it shouldn't be too different here. Pawn takes, pawn takes. I think I am taking with the... Should I take with the rook or should I just develop the knight? These are the kinds of questions that we have to ask ourselves. I could also just develop the bishop. I think, yeah, in that position, I would develop the bishop, develop the knight. I know that leaving the pawn in the middle of the board gives white some hope, but so does having all of my pieces on the back rank. So then I think I would prefer developing my pieces over picking up the isolated d-pawn. There's also the option of playing something like rook a3, rook a6, which is also developing a piece. So maybe in that case, queen c1 is the best move. After which I play bishop e3. All right, let's go for it. Bishop takes, push. Queen c1 is initially the best move. Oh, but then it settles on queen c1 again. We take, they take, and yes, development is the key. I said bishop here. Bishop a makes a lot of sense, just isolating the pawns. Exchanging pieces. I think you take with the rook. Rook takes a3, knight takes a3, almost the same. But and now, yeah. But yeah, as I said, activity of the pieces was more important than capturing the d-pawn there in terms of collecting material. Very nice. Okay. We've got one in the bank. Let's keep going. Bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes. Is there some way to get against this? To add another attacker there? Not that I'm seeing just yet. Yes, there is. Knight takes, queen. No, it has to be bishop takes first. Bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes, queen takes, rook c2, hitting the queen and adding a second attacker to e7. If queen takes, bishop takes, rook in, I'm probably playing... Well, first of all, the bishop's still under attack. No, it's not. Yes, it is. So probably bishop f6 in that position, after which I will get to play bishop e5. And then what follows, I'm probably going to start targeting the king side, and I'm going to re-infiltrate on the 7th rank. That's my plan. Okay, so I've got my consolidation plan. Is there any other variation for me to figure out? Yeah, there's the non-queen takes rook variation. So for example, queen here, rook takes. Maybe I should play rook e takes. This way I have the doubled. And yeah, in that position, I'm threatening this and this. My bishop comes to d6, hitting the rook here, and then that should just be a nightmare for black. So in both cases, my consolidation plan is basically activate pieces. She's going to take, yeah, like I said. Bishop f6 is it, and bishop e5. Good man. Okay. I see a little desperado tactic. I see a check. The check should be enough, right? Check, and then pick up the queen. Yeah, the check is enough. Check, king over. If rook up, then that loses the exchange. So yeah, here, here, here. I'm threatening smothered mate. So maybe h6. After which I play bishop takes f5. Seems reasonable. Okay, let's go for it. Do you have bishop h3? I mean, yeah, I suppose the smothered mate doesn't really work, right? Because you can just take. So yeah, it's more winning to just take the bishop back. Fair enough. Fair enough. So I will say that I misevaluated that final position. Bishop here. Rook anywhere. Well, not anywhere, because he does have this. So actually it's queen takes first. Queen takes first. If rook takes bishop here, picks up the bishop. Queen here, if bishop takes rook here, will pick up the exchange. So they clearly go for the exchange line. Queen takes, bishop here. Let's say the rook invades, c2, bishop takes, king takes, and then I do have e3 in that position. I also have rook d1 hitting the bishop, gaining tempo. But in that case, they just play king in, and they wanted to do that anyways, I think. So I think that e3 is probably the better move there. And so consolidation, I'm probably bringing knights into the center. My rook comes to c1 and d1. Rooks come to c1 and d1. And I think I'm going to trade off this light squared bishop so that the queen side can be targeted more easily. Why would you give up a full piece? Why does Stockfish prefer? Oh, they're not giving up a full piece. They're giving up the exchange this way. Fair enough. Yeah, it's a really obvious move. I'm not certain why I missed that. All right, last problem. Fairly obvious defense, rather. There's no pawn here. I would have loved to fork. Bishop takes, pawn takes. This bishop's really out of the game. Knight h7, king. Can I do anything with queen h5 now? queen h5, h6. Knight takes, pawn takes, and then that's a free knight. So queen d5. There's no other way to defend h7. Can you give up h7? Rook here. Queen takes check. Rook here. No, you're still losing the knight because I take the knight. The king's going to be pinned, so I still win the piece. Yeah. All right, so there are two lines. Queen h5, h6, knight takes, pawn takes. Not rook takes because that would allow knight here, but rather queen, knight, pawn, knight, takes, 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 takes. And in that position, I think I'm just bringing the rest of my boys to the yard. The bishop goes back to h3, and I continue. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna play against this weak e6 pawn. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say my bishop's gonna come back to h3, my queen's gonna come back to g6, and I'm gonna bring my other rooks in and my bishop in, and I'm gonna just target e6, and that pressure should make black crumble. So that's the first line. The other line goes here. Rook moves aside. Queen takes, king over, and then queen takes f6. And in that line, it's f7 that's going to be weak, or e6, but there are more pieces on the board. So I could see that being the line that the computer goes for. Yeah. All right, so here, and does it like bishop takes or king takes? It likes king takes. I don't see the point of king takes, right? Because you want the rook on f1, and the bishop does a little bit of a better job of getting there. Yeah, we're gonna bring, I mean, we're currently threatening bishop takes h6. So I would expect king h8 in a real game. And yeah, we're just gonna gobble up those pawns. That's the plan. Sure. All right. Let's call it there. I think that last one was pretty good. It was a pretty good representation of what a tactic looks like in a game and what a tactic after a tactic looks like in a game. Because there's that pitfall of, oh no, I'll simplify this way I can take, and there are even fewer pieces on the board, except there's knight takes f8. That's a part of the tactic, but not so much a part of the simplification. But there they kind of blend together because you want to simplify as you're doing the tactic. All right. That's another one in the win column for us. Thank you so much for following along with me there. And until the next time, good luck with your own chess journey.